Alrighty, folks. Let me just pull this up here. I'm so pumped. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm hoping that the chat is open. I'm not seeing the chat this morning for some reason. Let me give it a refresh because I love to be able to talk to you folks. Oh, there we go. Okay. I see you now. Okay, it wasn't loading for me, but good morning. I see Carol, I see Chad, I see Sean, Robert, General Kenobi, hello there. It's good to see you folks. Let me pull this back up. How's everybody doing? You guys ready for another Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge? I'm super pumped for today's challenge. We are going to be jumping into challenge number 2. I'm VooDoo Val, by the way. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is VooDoo Val, and I'm going to be your host for this challenge. I'm very excited because, as some of you may know, all of our challenges are actually ocean themed for this round of challenges, and I don't know if Adobe understood how very seriously I was going to take this because I love the ocean. The ocean's a big deal to me, so this challenge is a big deal to me, and I'm super pumped. But I'm going to dive right into it because there's a lot of stuff that I want to get to today, and I don't want to run out of time for it. So, the first thing that I would love to show you, let me grab this over here, is to show you the information about the Create Waves campaign and basically what we're doing here, why everything is ocean themed, all of that good information, and then show you where you can get involved for the challenge itself. So let me pop over here. Ta-da! So, oops, I don't know why it's showing that page. That is really weird. Hold on, you guys are seeing all of my behind the scenes. You guys see what I see. This is what I see when I stream. Hold on, let me go to my properties. I did a weird thing with my computer yesterday, so it looks like it has changed some of the things. My bad. There we go. All right. So this is the Create Waves campaign page right here. This is on the oceanagency.com, and it gives a little bit of information about the Create Wave campaign and all of the awesome information about the ocean decade. It actually has a link to the digital toolkit, which you can get, which is awesome. Which you can find right here, and it has colors, it has images, it has textures, it has photos, it has all kinds of things that you can use for your challenge entries, which is super, super cool. Ta-da! Yes, indeed. Ruh-roh, indeed, indeed, indeed. Don't you just love technology? Yeah, I did a new thing with my Streamlabs OBS yesterday, and I guess it decided to reset a bunch of things for me. Just in case I needed that. And this is where you go to get more information on the challenge. This is behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, where you can get all of the Photoshop challenge information. You can scroll down here and see all of the challenges as they unlock. And today we're doing an informational promo. It says design an informal promo for your favorite water creature. Design a layout, add your creature, and then play with text and graphics. And I encourage all of you folks to choose a water creature that is interesting to you. Maybe there's a water creature that is native to where you are from that is super interesting or important, or maybe there's a water creature that is a little strange that you just think is interesting and weird, and you maybe want to learn a little bit more about it. And I just choose an ocean creature. Doesn't matter what it is, and we're going to do a little bit of research and learn about that animal, and then put the information you find into a promotional graphic. Why do we have to research an ocean creature, you may ask? Because number one, ocean creatures are important, and number two, this gives you good practice for researching things when you have to create copy in the future for clients and other projects that you may be involved in. It's very, very good practice. So the creature that I have chosen, the creature that most people think of when they think of the ocean, the creature that kind of gets a bad rap, you know, because they're scary a little bit, you know, they're a little scary. There's movies made about them. Obviously, I'm talking about the shark. I love sharks. And we're gonna get into a little bit about the research that I have done on sharks after I introduce the starter file to you. So this is our starter file. If you download the starter file from the challenge page, can it be a lake creature? If you decide you want it to, I just say ocean creature because the contest, the Create Waves contest, is ocean themed because it's all about ocean conservation. It says design an informational promo for your favorite water creature, basically the same spiel that we got on the challenge page. And then I also added those helpful links just in case you are looking for pictures that are not included in the libraries that you may have downloaded, the digital toolkit. So it's all there for you. And I'm gonna go ahead and hide my info because I don't think that I really need this right now because I'm gonna create my own thing. I'm gonna do a little square promo based on something pertaining to sharks. Whale is more terrifying, changed my mind. Yeah, they're just really, really big. But why have I chosen sharks? We're gonna dive into some Adobe Live Planet Earth real quick, okay? I love sharks. I think sharks are great. Sharks are beautiful. Sharks are wonderful. Sharks are dangerous, especially for us, and they should be respected and, if observed from a distance. But they get a bad rap because they're scary, except for Bruce from Finding Nemo. He's a precious baby and he must be protected at all costs. I love sharks because they're come in all different shapes and sizes. They have like incredible feats of strength that they're capable of. They're just beautiful to me. And one of the things that I think is the most beautiful about them is the way that they make other sharks. So I don't know if you folks have ever seen a shark egg, but a shark egg, also referred to as a mermaid purse or a mermaid pouch, is like a little tiny pouch. It kind of looks like a purse and it comes in all kinds of other crazy wacky shapes and sizes, but the most common is like a little purse-like sort of shape that is really cool, and it has all the things contained within it to create a baby shark, and they look like this. They are really cool. Sometimes they're a little spiral like that, which is interesting. Sometimes they literally look like a purse, kind of like this, and they have a little baby shark in there. And I also gathered this image, which I thought was cool, of somebody that found one on the beach. They're really, really interesting, and if you haven't looked up, you know, any information about them, I think that you will think they're super, super neat. So I'm going to create an informational graphic based on sharks, shark eggs, and why it's so important to protect the ocean, because they are gorgeous creatures and we should respect and care about what we put into the ocean because that is where they live. What type have you used to challenge text? I used that little text down there at the bottom. Actually, that was Great Fighter. It's a font that I personally like, that I use. But shark bait, ooh ha ha, yes, got my Finding Nemo folks in the chat. Val dropping shark knowledge, you know it. All right, so somebody asked, where can I get the digital toolkit, William? There is a link in the chat from the one and only Sam Peterson. Please follow that link and you will be able to add that to your libraries. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open I've made myself my own little library, and I've added some stuff from the digital toolkit into my own library for this project. And if you want to know how to do that, all you have to do is go to the Create Waves toolkit, which you will be able to open up in your Photoshop like so. And you can actually right click on something and say move to, and it'll give you a list of all of your own libraries that you can add it to. So if you want to create a separate library, you can totally do that. So I am going to choose some colors, and I think that I am actually going to choose I'm going to choose an image, and I might actually sample colors from an image. You can use some colors from the Create Waves toolkit if you want, but I'm going to drag and drop some images into here and kind of see how I might situate them. I think I'm going to use this one, and I also may use this one. Let me see. I might use that one. I'm just going to drag all of these in here. And this is how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this very quickly. We'll also grab this one because that is a beautiful shark picture. Beautiful, beautiful shark picture. Okay, so now that I have my images in here, I'm going to hold shift and click the topmost layer and the bottommost layer that I know I want to group together, and I'm going to say Control G and group them just like that. So now I have all of my images. I'm going to rename this images so that I have all of that kind of separate by itself. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment with some shapes to kind of lay out what I want this to look like. So I will grab my paint bucket tool, which is right up here behind my gradient tool. I just have to hit paint bucket tool, and I can unhide some of those images to snag some colors, or I mean I could use this, but I kind of like the colors from that from this image right here. Let me hide these. I kind of like the colors from here, so I'm going to snag that color right there, and I am going to make a new layer with Control Shift in or Command Shift in if you are on the Mac, and I'm going to drop in kind of a warm tone here. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to grab my text tool by pressing T on my keyboard or just selecting it from my left-hand toolbar, and I'm going to start to lay out a little bit of text. It's just going to be lorem ipsum. It's just going to be something that allows me to visualize where the information I find would be. And so I'm going to maybe put a paragraph here. Notice I am not clicking to just simply type text into this space. I am clicking, holding, and dragging to create a paragraph right here, which is really cool. And then what I can do is come in and choose kind of a brighter color if I want. And I don't think I'm gonna go with this color nor this font, but it just allows me to kind of get that situated in there. So I'm going to kind of pull this down, and what I'd like to do is just duplicate this. I've selected this text, Control or Command C to copy, and then I'm going to click and Control or Command V to paste, just to add more here because I want more text. Maybe I can pull that down just a little bit. Boom. And then I'm just going to duplicate this, Control J or Command J, Control T or Command T, and I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to zoom out here so I can see this, and I'm going to just kind of create this right here, just kind of some space, because I know I want, you know, information over here, and I know that I want maybe you know, an image over here and a title at the top. This is going to be a simple infographic, but something that hopefully that will get your minds kind of churning for your own. So next we've got like a minimal amount of text in here. I will group those as well just to get them out of the way. And then let's grab some other colors. I'm gonna grab maybe this blue color. I do like that blue color. And I am going to create some blobs, because you could simply drop an image into an infographic, but it's not always very interesting just to have a square image. Sometimes it works. If that works for your project, go for it, do it. But I wanted to show you some more interesting ways to place some images into things to give your piece a little more movement and a little more motion to it, just something that is a little more unique. And we are doing challenges based on ocean stuff, so I felt like that was probably a good plan to do some motion. So what I'm going to do is grab my pen tool, and I am going to click, and I'm going to kind of bring this out like so. I don't know if I like how harshly that goes around. Maybe I'll redo that one. Bring this over here. There we go. And I'm just going to click here. Maybe I'll bring that even more over, and I will select that and bump it over. There we go. And so just so you understand how I'm moving these things around, I'm holding the Control key to click into different points to select them. And then if I hold Control and grab one of my little arms here, it will help me to move them around, where I'm moving both of those little armatures around and affecting the curve here. But if I only want to move one of them, I have to hold down Alt, and then I can move one of those arms. And if I would like to sort of come in and edit these, I can click, let me see if I can do that. Yeah, there we go. I can come in and alt click and it will start removing armatures for me as well. So let me grab this. Maybe we'll do it kind of like this. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll there we go. That kind of flows a little bit more. Let's kind of do it like that. Let's kind of bring this over here, and then let's kind of just round this up like so. And this is a weird shape, but I like it. I'm going to come up here and select shape to create a shape. And then I'm going to open my properties panel. If you don't see your properties panel, you should be able to go up to window and scroll down to properties. Now, when you first open your properties panel, you might not see the options that you want to actually edit a blob. And that means that you are still selected on the pen tool. And in order to select the shape tool, you just have to come over and select it from your left-hand toolbar. And then once you have your shape tool and you open your properties panel, you should be able to, if we can, let me see. Oh, well, we can access it from up here. I can snag that color that I selected and fill it. And then on the stroke over here, I can actually turn the stroke off if I want, because I don't want any stroke showing. And then I have kind of an interesting blob over here, and kind of looks like a mango. I'm not sure if I'm really satisfied with this, to be perfectly honest, but that's okay. We can also kind of noodle around with it, because maybe that was a practice run. Let's see if we can do another one. I'm sorry, I apologize for that one. That one was not, I'm sorry. Please, no copyright slash for the DJ Khaled jokes. Right now that looks kind of like a lima bean. I don't know. I might need some more time to kind of make some good blobs. Another thing that you can do if you don't want to make your blobs this way, it's actually something that I do a lot, to be perfectly honest, something that I do all the time. Is I sometimes use the selection tool. You could use the selection tool, or I use the brush tool. So if I make a new layer and grab B on my keyboard, you could do this with a mouse. If you turn the smoothing on, you could do this with a stylus if you have a stylus. So I'm going to turn smoothing on. I'm actually going to do this with my mouse, just in solidarity with those who do not have a mouse and may want to try this. So I've got my smoothing on, so I can come in. Let's crank that smoothing up just a little bit more. I'm going to come in and I am going to kind of get like an interesting little shape going on. Yeah, there we go. That's a little nicer. There we go. And what I can do now, I'm going to call this blob. And then I can grab one of my images like so. And I can right click that image once it is above the proper layer and say create clipping mask. Boop. And then I can Control T and I can Control T this over here, which kind of gives me a nice little image that is just like off to the side of my piece. And then up here, let's see if I want to add some kind of title, which I definitely do. And I think I like this, this font color at least for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we're gonna call this shark eggs. There we go. And then I think I'm going to just double click with my text tool in here, and I'm going to change this to a good old Montserrat, because Montserrat never fails me. Montserrat is not here today. That is so sad. Okay. My apologies. Photoshop. Let's just use Calibri. We'll use Calibri for now. I want to make sure that I get all of this, and I'm going to bump that up there because it's showing a little more extra than I want to. And let's also set this to Calibri, because Calibri is not so bad. Okay, so we have regular text. I might change the color of this text, and we're kind of running out of time, so I can't like really go for it right now. But another thing that you can do if you want to add something interesting to an infographic is you can cut a piece of an image out in order to not maybe do the blob thing, not just drop in a square rectangle image, but maybe you want to take something that is very cool from an image that is the subject of your project, and you want to do a really nice, unique selection and cut of that item from the image, but don't know how to do it because sometimes selecting things cleanly is very difficult. So we are going to, let's see, we could select something from here. We could try the corkscrew egg. That would be really cool. I don't know if this will be exactly what we want, but let's try it. Let's go for it. We got 5 minutes here, and I think that we can experiment. So I'm going to go into the object selection tool. You can grab the object selection tool by selecting W on your keyboard, and if hitting W doesn't actually bring you to the object selection tool, that simply means you have to right click here and select it from the drop down. And the easiest way to do this is just to, oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. So the object selection tool, with the help of our wonderful AI, Adobe Sensei, who's been training hard in the dojo, the AI kind of detects the edges of things in the image and decides where it should select. And it's not 100% accurate. You can see here, there's some little, there's some little stuff and things around here that are not so clean, but that is a really cool way to do it. Another way to do it is to use, I don't know how many of you have ever used the magnetic lasso tool, but the magnetic lasso tool is very interesting. So I'm gonna come up here to my lasso and I'm gonna select magnetic lasso tool. You can also hit L on your keyboard, but if you don't see it, if you just get the regular lasso tool, it most likely means that you just have to select it from your drop down. And the magnetic lasso tool is awesome because if I just click and hold and start tracing around here, it actually magnetizes to the end, so still kind of coming in here, and it's not 100% accurate if I'm not 100% accurate, but as you can see, I'm going around here and it starts to kind of wiggle around and move. You see that? How it wiggles and it moves, and it kind of makes my own selection more accurate, which is really awesome because sometimes I don't have a steady hand. Sometimes I'm trying to select something with my lasso tool and my hand slips like it did just then. And it kind of stinks when that happens because when I do that, then it kind of ruins my whole selection, right? But that actually gave us a really nice selection. And what I will do is come in with the regular lasso tool. The regular lasso tool, let me come up here and let's go to lasso, and I can hold Alt, and I can come in and I can subtract from the places where I did not like my selection, subtract from the areas where I think that there shouldn't have been stuff selected, and then I can hold Shift and I can add to my selection where I think that I should have kind of grasped at more. Let's kind of subtract from here. Boom. I think I'm going to leave it at that so we don't get too precious with this because we've got about 2.5 minutes left, and then I am going to simply make sure I'm on that layer that I have selected, and I'm going to say Control J or Command J if you are using a Mac. And then I can unhide this, or I can hide that, and then I just have my little egg here, and I can, let's maybe flip this horizontal. I think we're gonna flip it horizontal, and I can kind of place it down here if I want. I'm not gonna worry about the fact that it kind of overlaps with things right now, only because I would absolutely spend more time kind of making this cleaner and prepare the text a little bit more, but we don't have very much time, so I'm just throwing it in there, but just get this in here. We can actually maybe add another blob in the back if we want to kind of encroach upon some interesting shapes. It would also be interesting just to really blur the main image and throw that in here. Let's see if we can do that real quick. I'm just gonna grab this blob. I'm gonna Control J to duplicate it, Control T to transform it, and I am going to, ooh, that's the one it's clipped to. So let's grab this underneath one. I'm going to go like this, and I am going to flip horizontal, and I'm gonna put that right down here. And then what I could do, just to make this a little more interesting, is grab this image that we cut that, that out of, bring it down here, clip it, and then come into Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and let's just use the same colors to kind of add a little bit of texture back here. And it doesn't really match this other one, but maybe we can come into the color adjustments and go into my little sliders, my hue and saturation with Control or Command I. Oh, wait a second, that was Control or Command U, is it? Control or Command I is invert. And we can come in here and we can toggle around and maybe make it something that is a little bit warmer, a little bit. Maybe we'll desaturate it, maybe we'll throw some of that on there. That's a little closer, but you see what I mean. Obviously it needs some work, but these are just some interesting, helpful ways to help you kind of think about maybe designing and decorating a post, how to cut things out, how to place some text, how to experiment, how to get a little loose with those selections and things and get a cleaner selection if you're not familiar with how to do that. I cannot wait to see what you make. I cannot wait to see what creatures you choose, because that's going to be awesome. I love the ocean. I love learning about it. So teach me some things, folks. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with some illustration, which is going to play into our challenges even later in the coming weeks, which I'm very excited about. So thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to see all of your work, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye, everybody.